Probably, if you've been following our channel, did not expect to see me like this. I was inspired by our friend LaShonda, who just went live from her kitchen. And I said, you know what? Not to be outdone, men can go into the kitchen too. Men can do this as well. I'm actually cooking dinner, 15-minute dinner that I can handle, that my wife is allowing me to handle because she doesn't think I'm going to mess this up because we use Blue Apron. Shout out to Blue Apron. I'm not an affiliate, but they're an amazing product that allows people like me to quickly get our stuff together and cook for our families. Whoa, lost a shrimp. When we are not chefs in our own right. So shout out to them. Anyway, the reason I decided to go live here, even though this is very, very unlike me to do this from outside of my studio, my home office, and sharing with my professional camera as much as possible, camera stuff. And even if you're watching this on replay, why I wanted you to see it is because there's so much stuff going on that I said, you know what, there's no way for me to do it, even in our creative checkups, which we do every Friday. And then, of course, our newsletter, which comes out on Wednesday. So there's really no way to cover everything in just one comment or one particular form. So I better get used to getting on live more often and sharing with you, number one, kind of like real life, where I'm here in my, basically my sweats and getting dinner ready, which is life, real life for creators. Not always glam, not always touring, not always content creating, but sometimes just being a human being and cooking dinner is part of what the lifestyle we're trying to do. We're trying to create this freedom and this space where we don't have to be perfect all the time. But how can I model that if I don't actually show guys like you, people like you, what really goes on, which is regular life? And so, as I wipe up this pan, what I am wanting to do is just give you like a little recap of what happened this weekend in my life and why I was so crazy and busy. Because after we did our Friday live stream, which I can't believe we actually got the live stream in with everything that was going on, but we did. We had our Friday live stream, which prepared for our podcast episode with Roberto Blake, and we talked about the reasons why creators do feel like it's impossible to make income, why it feels like you're never able to keep up, and why people keep changing the rules on us as creators. And so that was our Friday live stream. And then that set the table for today's live stream on Monday, which we shared our interview with Roberto Blake. So if you haven't watched the interview with Roberto Blake, it just came out, so no big deal yet. But I really would love to get 100 people to watch that, or at least 100 views in the first 24 hours, because number one, Roberto Blake is probably the preeminent YouTuber, the OG YouTuber, when it comes to tech, when it comes to photography, when it comes to graphic design. He was there before anybody else was kind of doing this. And then more importantly, he shared the keys of what really happens with creators. Marco, good to see you, man. Thank you so much for checking in. We're sharing, honestly, just kind of like from my kitchen. Never did this before, but more importantly, kind of like the real life of a creator, the real life of someone who's just trying to make it work, and they're not always glamorous, not always being able to make it, fancy in terms of like a camera and stuff. So people will pop in, people will pop out. But I would be curious if you're watching now. Number one, have you been watching God and Gigs? Are you subscribed? Number two, what's your after work? This is my after work thing, cooking dinner. When you're not creating, what are you doing? Because I think us creators, maybe this is what I need to be sharing. Creators aren't just creating. Creators are people. We cook dinner. We get out and we need to, go running. Like there's other parts of this lifestyle that don't include slaving away behind a piano, slaving away behind a keyboard, slaving away behind a camera, slaving away as a dancer, slaving away as any of the other creative things you do. So I would be curious if you want to share, if you are a creator, number one, what do you do or what's your hobby that's not creativity? Do you have something outside that kind of makes you more like a whole person? because I feel like I said, maybe this is something I need to explore in a future episode. The other side of creative life, the non-creative side of creative life, the I'm just home, not doing anything creative part of life. But as I was saying, today's episode with Roberto, please, if you haven't checked it out, it did come out today. Roberto Blake is one of the leading YouTube live streamers and content creators. 600,000 subscribers that he has. He's earned over $2 million as an independent creator. And that just came out today. So if you go on the same channel, YouTube, you will go ahead and be able to see that, watch it. Just 40 minutes of pure brilliance. And he goes in, man. He went in. He didn't pull any punches. He called out colleges that are going to be scammers. He called out a bunch of things that we as creators are going to have to watch out for. So I really hope you will check that out. But there's some other things that are happening in the God and Gigs kind of community. One thing that I'm really excited about is at the end of the month, I'm going to be sharing a workshop that will be with my friend Dre Marshall. Now, this workshop will be for anyone who has ever felt the struggle between trying to be smart with the industry, but be authentic with your creativity. If the industry has pulled you and you feel like you got to be something you're not. Dre Marshall has written songs and produced for the Spider-Man movies, the animated Spider-Man movie. He's written with some of the biggest hip-hop artists and R&B artists. And yet at the same time, he's honestly kind of stepping out of the game because he felt this tension. Like he didn't want to be doing what he was doing. So I said, bro, you got to jump on with me and do a workshop on being authentic with your art while still trying to be marketable and doing so in a way that honors your faith. Because he's absolutely a believer, but he's not one of these died, sit in church all day people. Like he's not that. So he's a perfect person to kind of balance this faith, creativity, and entrepreneurship. That's really what we do here at God and Gigs. So that will not be out yet. I'm still working on that registration page, but very soon it will be available. And when it's available, all you have to do, if you are not already in God and Gigs 360, which is our app, I really encourage all you guys to get the God and Gigs app, by the way. You go to godandgigs.com/membership, and I might go ahead and start something that says app. By the way, those of you who are watching, please comment. I am paying attention. I don't want to just talk. My question to you was, what is your non-creative thing? What's your non-creative hobby? Like if you go biking, you surf, you like playing pool. I know it's going to be hard for some people. Like a lot of us have creative hobbies because literally that's what we love to do and we do it for a living. But I'm really curious because as soon as I started cooking here, cooking has kind of like become a hobby for me. I guess I got to show you guys what I'm doing. Once again, I feel so like, all right. So this is the part where I'm being vulnerable, y'all. Like for you to watch me cook, like this is super vulnerable. I feel like I'm being judged like right now, even though no one probably cares. I feel like you guys are looking at me like, what is he doing? This is just shrimp, just Italian shrimp, like nothing special. But I feel some kind of way like showing y'all this. Like I'm like, I cannot believe I just showed you this. And the world can see that either I do know how to cook or I don't, but they can all see it. But I'm trying to, once again, this is the summer, y'all. This is a little bit different. Summer's different. Summer is not the same as every other season, so I may never do this again. You may never watch a musician and podcaster try to cook. And usually these shrimp go faster too, so I'm wondering if I got the... Anyway, so point is that I do have other ideas and other hobbies and other things that make me happy outside of music and outside of my creative stuff. So if you watch this later, I'd love to know as well. What is your non-creator hobby? Your non-creative thing that you enjoy doing? Because if you have one and you're very well-rounded, it probably will help you stay more grounded with your creator thing. All right, so I need to make sure I'm not losing track of this. Seasoned shrimp. Now I'm going to reverse that. Garlic pesto. Add the sliced zucchini. Let's do that now. And then we'll start switching it up. Oh, I see what happened. That's okay. This will still work. I see what I did. It wasn't supposed to be mixed up like this. I wasn't supposed to do the shrimp and the pesto at the same time. But guess what? That's what we're doing. So it's like a meat pesto sauce. It actually looks really good. I think I did a good job here. So like I said, I don't know why I'm giving a cooking show at the same time that I'm talking about creative work. And I see some of you are watching but are not commenting. So either you love watching me cook or you're simply not able to comment right now. So as I was sharing, our workshop with Dre Marshall will come out very soon. I do not have that registration yet, but that should be at the end of the month. So that's going to be going on. We'll still have our creative checkups on Fridays at 1 p.m. That's where we help you solve one specific issue in your creative life, but we do kind of like a checkup. It's like a creative checkup on how you're doing in your physical life, your spiritual life, how you're doing in your career, and we just kind of like cover all those bases and help you out. So that is on Fridays at 1 p.m. So I will hope you guys join us, 1 p.m. Eastern. Then on Wednesdays, our newsletter comes out, which is our Creative Checkup newsletter. And that's where we share the same things as the Creative Checkup, but in a written format. So maybe you're not a video person. Maybe you'd rather read that. So what I try to do is that every Friday, I do it video. And then every Wednesday, we do it written. So think about it. Monday, podcast, audio. Tuesday, newsletter, written. Friday, video. So essentially, you get 3 different ways to get very, very similar content. But each way, I mix it up a little bit. So it's never exactly the same. It's never exactly the same stuff. But there always is a thread. And in this month, we're talking about marketing and branding is our major focus. Marketing and branding is what you'll see us focus on. And that'll be a lot of our content. Won't be all of it, but most of our content will deal with that. All right. I think my pesto's doing pretty well. And I've been on about 12 minutes, so I'm not going to keep you guys too long. It's a 15-minute meal. That would be interesting. What if I did 15-minute meals and 15-minute like talks while I cook? I don't know if that's a good creative idea, but it made me pause for a second. I'm like, that might be interesting. Can I dispense creative ideas in 15 minutes while cooking? And what would I share that could help you? That might be an interesting concept to try. I never thought about it. Tell me in the comments later on, if you're not watching live, if you're watching this later, tell me what you think. Should we do cooking and creativity? Ooh, wow. Even that came out really. I'm so shocked. See, this is what happens when you get out of your comfort zone and you think of other stuff. Cooking with creators. Something I never would have thought of had I not been turning on this camera and thinking randomly when I never do stuff like this. Would have totally been something I wouldn't have done. But anyway, thank you all for checking it out. Hope you will check us out again if you're watching on replay. Thank you for joining me. And yeah, this has been a cool little experiment. We'll see if we do this again.